So, we've received a transmission from someone using our subspace frequency, Fulcrum.
Hello and welcome back to the Fulcrum Communications channel. I wanted to make a quick video today about the Empire article that came out regarding Ahsoka and the new series that will be streaming on Disney Plus starting on August 23rd. This series is going to be centered around a character that not a lot of people are going to be familiar with unless they've looked into certain pieces of Star Wars media. The main thing to know about this is that this article here is a great introduction to the character. I made my own video here on the channel all about Ahsoka. It covers a lot of what's mentioned in this article, so I'm not going to dive too much into everything about Ahsoka and her past. I will mention here that it is obvious that she was in The Mandalorian second season. That brought Ahsoka to the big screen. That brought her into live action, and she's being portrayed by Rosario Dawson. Now, Ahsoka was introduced, though, in the Clone Wars animated series. There was an animated film and a series that came after that, and she was initially designed, created by Dave Filoni and George Lucas to be an animated character, and she was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan apprentice. Her story continued in another animated series called Star Wars Rebels, and on to another animated series called Tales of the Jedi, and now she's finally getting her own show. So if you want to know more about Ahsoka, I made an entire video about it here on the channel. You can check that out. I'm going to skip down to the plot here and just reiterate what the plot is moving forward. My previous video about Ahsoka will take you through her whole life. It'll take you through from the time she was born all the way up to the new Ahsoka show. And of course, this article will too. But the plot that they describe here in the Empire article says, the details remain largely under wraps, but the general overall gist is Ahsoka's continuing pursuit of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And Thrawn is a master tactician of the Empire's military, long lost somewhere among the stars. She's joined on a quest by a scrappy band of rebels, some of whom we're already familiar with. We meaning anybody that's watched the Star Wars Rebels animated series. So it says, so there's a certain amount of likely action that we can infer from the cast list. Read on for more of that. It goes on to talk about Ahsoka's cast and characters, a lot of which are going to be characters from Star Wars Rebels, like Sabine Wren is going to be a very big character in this series. We are also looking at Thrawn, or as it says here, Mithran Ruodo is his real name, his full name. Thrawn is a character that was introduced very early on in 1991 in a book called Heir to the Empire. And he was known as possibly the greatest military mind the Empire has ever seen. And he was also the only alien to ever wear one of those white suits right there and being given the rank of Grand Admiral. He was the major antagonist of season 3 and 4 of the Star Wars Rebels show, and he was voiced by Lars Mikkelsen, who is also reprising his role right on screen as the Grand Admiral himself. Now, this next part here is there's some Rebels spoilers in it. It gives you a nice warning, so skip this part if you haven't watched Rebels yet and you plan on doing so in the next couple of weeks before Ahsoka comes out. But the main thing to know here is that the former street thief Ezra Bridger, who was a scavenger, con artist, and ghost crew member, was trained as a Jedi and ended Rebels by sacrificing himself, not in a death sense, obviously, but by plunging into the unknown regions with Thrawn, with apparently no way back. So Ahsoka's quest is to track down Thrawn and find Ezra. So that's a lot of the premise of this show. Now, obviously, the show's not going to be just that. It's not going to be just Ahsoka tracking down Ezra, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other fun stuff on the way. Some of the biggest questions have been about Ray Stevenson, who plays Baylan. He's a former Jedi who survived Darth Sidious's Order 66 massacre by fleeing into the unknown regions, going dark and allying with Thrawn. Sadly, this was one of Stevenson's last roles and is appearing after he died suddenly in May. May he rest in peace. The big thing here is that this, up till now, as far as I know, is the most we've gotten about his character. There's been tons of theories swirling around online, from him being like crazy theories, like from him being Anakin Skywalker in another timeline, to him being some High Republic Jedi that's crossed over timelines and traveled through time to this time period. And now we finally know that Baylan is a former Jedi who survived Darth Sidious's Order 66. And sounds to me here that he went to the unknown regions, and that's where Thrawn was hanging out. He allied with Thrawn, and he has gone dark. So we definitely know that he is not a Sith. He is not a Sith Lord. He is not some type of former apprentice of Emperor Palpatine that we didn't know about. It's definitely someone who's gone dark. Ivana plays Shin, who is Baylan's apprentice and Dark Force user. They call her the Scamp. So we definitely got to call out there that they are Dark Force users. They are using the dark side of the Force, but they are Baylan, at least, is a former Jedi. I don't know much about Shin yet, if she's going to be considered a former Jedi. And lastly, it does talk about Diana, who's playing Morgan Elsbeth. She still is being listed as an Imperial Magistrate working for Thrawn. I think that we might find out that she is a former Night Sister. I'm not quite sure about that. There's some other people that think that's the case as well, but we will have to wait and see. But that's the main call out that I found in this article. A lot of it, if you're a longtime Star Wars fan and watched a lot of the media, a lot of this is not going to be new to you. But if you are a brand new Star Wars fan to the series, or you haven't watched a lot of the media that's out there, maybe you have watched the movies and The Mandalorian, and that's about it. Maybe you saw Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, you're like, who is this girl? Why is she talking to Grogu? This is going to definitely catch you up. And again, I mentioned there is a video on my channel that does take you through Ahsoka's life, so check that out and give it a thumbs up. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on really quick, make this talk about Baylan and the fact that we got a little bit of more details today. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Until then, may the Force be with you. Fulcrum out.